and among others. And also, I'm building out the website. I'm upgrading it, so now you can search through all of our podcasts. You can search the titles, and there's subscribe buttons. You can listen right from the browser. There's links to all our socials, and you can actually record a voice message right from the site. So check out podcastica.com.
I am on it right now. I had not had a look yet. It is awesome. It looks completely different. And yeah, you can send a voice message really easily.
We put all the host pictures are in there except for one who hadn't seen it yet.
That's me. That's me. I'm trying to find everyone else's pictures. Where are the pictures? I don't see them. If you
go into any of the podcasts, scroll down a little. They're just really tiny little, but if you can also link to your own personal site through there or whatever you want to link to.
Well, famously, my identity is a well-kept secret, so I'll just send in a drawing of my cat. No, I will.
Wendy gave me a picture of Charlize Theron.
Amazing.
Like, Wendy.
Have you ever seen them in the same place at the same time?
No, I have not. That's true. But I have seen them both.
We love you, Wendy.
But she finally sent me a real one, which is super cute. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, check it out, people. It's like years overdue, but I'm really trying to figure out, how to make this all exciting once The Walking Dead is over. And I got really excited about it. So hopefully you guys will too. But let's get into The Walking Dead. It's Walking Dead season 11, episode 9, No Other Way. So what did you think of this episode in general?
I loved it. I thought it was one of the best episodes we've had in a long time. It was pacey. It was quick. I was so glad to be back. It took me a hot minute to remember the state of play of everything. So I handily made a very quick guide to what the state of play is when this episode opens from last season, third of a season. Pope is dead. Leah killed him. She's pissed off and blamed Daryl. Grace and Judith are stuck in a flooding basement. The rocket launcher is going off, and Maggie and Negan are in the mix.
Yep.
And from there, it just kept going.
Cliffhanger-y stuff, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was awesome. I agree. One of the best in a while. I mean, I was tempted to say my favorite this season. I had to think back. That one with Connie was really interesting, but I think I did like this one better. It was a real standout, and I'd give it 4.75 gacs.
I'm with you on that. I would say the Connie episode was great, but it almost didn't feel like an episode of The Walking Dead. Yeah. It felt like its own standalone horror film.
Really.
Yeah, but they were both. But this, for the show as we know and love it, this was the high point so far.
Right. That's very well said. Okay, let's get into our points. What's your first one? By the way, I don't know if I should bother mentioning this, but another thing, I guess while I'm sort of reevaluating everything here and refreshing everything, I've realized that calling it our top 5 highlights makes it sound more minimal than it really is, because we really go deep. They're not just little highlights. And also having it be a countdown makes it feel like it's our favorite to least favorite points or something like that. So what I've been doing on the other podcasts is not calling it our highlights and just saying, what's your next point? So it's just more like, let's talk deeply about this episode and talk about all the things that we're interested in. Just FYI. Well,
great, because I've got 8.
Perfect.
I did that thing where I was divvying them up, and I was like, Jason will have some of these, so I'm going to keep some in the back.
Yeah, of course.
So probably my biggest oh wow of this episode in terms of the story is Maggie and Elijah, because I realized about 20 minutes in that what we're seeing with Maggie and Elijah is Maggie's wish fulfillment of what she wishes someone had done for her. So Elijah wants revenge for the death of his sister, and he wants that revenge by having Carver killed, and that is the thing that he is most focused on. When Glenn died and when they went to war with the Saviors, all Maggie wanted was to see Negan dead. She was fully about the revenge at that point.
And really upset about Rick not killing him.
Yes, Rick and Michonne denied her that in the name of this bigger thing. So we see initially Elijah's desire for revenge or justice is completely denied by Maggie and Daryl and Gabriel. But that moment where Maggie turns and changes her mind, and the music and the menace of her just walking up with that gun and taking down those 2 Reapers and coming back for Carver and just knifing him was so brutal and so just indicative of the change that Maggie has undergone in these last 7 to 8 years of just becoming a much more hardened, brutal person. And I thought I couldn't understand the first watch why Negan was so quiet this episode. Like, he has like one classic Negan ding ding moment, and you see him. I really enjoyed the smirk he gave when Gabriel came over the radio and was like, my name is Gabriel. And Negan's like, I was like, Negan is all of us at this moment. Yep. But at the end, I thought the quiet payoff between him and Maggie of him saying, you were always going to do what you did. I don't blame you. I'm going to be on my way. It was just, it wasn't the way I thought I wanted that story beat to end, but it really, really worked for me. And seeing that moment for Maggie of just determination and the rift it's probably going to cause with her and Daryl, I think is interesting. Although I don't think it's going to be as big of a rift as we're maybe being led to believe, because I remembered very strongly Maggie and Daryl walking away from those Oceansiders killing saviors. So I think they have maybe more common ground than we realise here. But yeah, Maggie and Elijah, I thought that was just really wonderfully done.
Yeah, with Negan, he has been worried about that Maggie would kill him since she came back to Alexandria, but especially since this mission started and they're out in the wild together. That's been his whole thing, ever since everything that happened in the subway. And he's been trying to prove himself valuable and helpful. Well, after he left her to die there. But he really did. I think it's pretty clear he only did that because he was afraid she was going to kill him. Not an excuse, but just where his head was at. He wasn't like just trying to be a killer. But anyway, he's been trying to prove himself valuable and helpful so he could win her over and be able to live peacefully with her, which is what he wants to do. But now, after witnessing her gun down her enemies, he's just like, no, it's only a matter of time before she's going to kill me. That's where he's at. And the whole scene where he comes up while she's burying Alden, and there were a couple things I didn't like about it. For one, it was a bit cheap that they made it like he's got his knife in his hand, and I'm like,
yeah, they didn't need to do that. I'm like,
you're not a threat, don't be holding your knife like that.
Yeah.
And she's going to grab for hers, and that was just to fake us out to make us think, and then actually he's just going to leave. But also, the point of it was he says, you're always going to do what you did, Maggie, meaning kill the Reapers. I don't blame you really, but see, when it comes to me, promise or not, it's just a matter of time before you make the same call. So I ain't going to give you the chance to do that. I'm going to go my own way. That tells us where he's at, but it's a bit Fear the Walking Dead-y, dead on, let me explicate myself. I mean, really, wouldn't you just leave? Like, don't go tell the person that you're afraid of what you're doing. Just go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe he hadn't decided.
Huh?
Maybe he hadn't decided.
Until he got there and confronted her?
He thought he might kill her. I mean, it'd be stupid if he thought he was going to kill Maggie, to be honest. But
I didn't get that sense.
No, I'm with your reading on it, to be honest. I'm just being devil's advocate there. I thought it was also a bit shit that he watched her dig the whole grave, which must have taken quite a long time and quite a lot of effort. And then he was like, hey, I'm here.
But I don't know if he's right, actually. I mean, the Reapers were just straight up trying as hard as they could to kill Maggie and everyone she knows. And so it makes more sense, and I'm sure we'll get into it, to me, that she would kill them. But with Negan, he has saved her life a couple of times. He's been working with her. So I think it's not 100% cut and dried that Maggie would eventually kill Negan, but I think I don't blame him for being scared.
I think as well Lauren Cohen played that moment really well, because she looks quite shocked at herself at that moment. I don't know, she's broken down by the time she's got to the church and seen what's happened to Alden. And when Negan says that, it's like she wants to defend herself, but she doesn't know herself anyway. I don't know, there was just this sense of she just seemed really lost in that moment. Like she couldn't say anything.
Yeah. Because
I think ultimately she knew he was right, but she hated that he was right.
Well, first she thought he was there to kill her. And she's also grieving in the same moment. So it's an emotional moment, it's like, holy
Absolutely.
Shit. But yeah, I think once she really does grok what's going on, who knows what she's thinking. Maybe she's like, good, I would be.
Feeling good as hell.
Yeah. Like, no matter whether Negan is redeemed or not, if someone took a bat to my wife's head and I saw her eye pop out and he was laughing the whole time, I don't think I could ever live peacefully with that person, no matter, even if they like won a Nobel Prize and, I don't know, invented the cure for cancer or something. I would still
won a Nobel Prize.
Go off.
That's a hell of a life. Hell of a life that person has led. Is like from baseball bat murderer to cure for cancer.
I mean, that's what they're trying to do with Negan. I feel like sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, what a great guy he is.
He's like, I'll be back and I will have solved the zombie apocalypse. You're like, sure.
You know what I mean? Like, even if they were like, oh, you know what? He actually had a tumor and we removed it and now he's nice. I just wouldn't be able to look at his face, you know?
No, he's a shit.
Well, he killed Glenn and Glenn's eye popped out. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think this is the last we'll see of him?
No. I don't think so. Mostly because, well, he's such a big part of the show, and also I just think it would be a bit of a anticlimactic exit for him. So I think he'll be back.
Who is it? Was it Norman Reedus said in an interview once, or was it Andrew Lincoln, that they fancied an exit where they just like kind of fucked off into the distance? They're like, maybe I just leave one day. Maybe I just like walk away, like bye. And I'm like, yeah, you don't see that enough.
I feel like that's what Daryl is going to do. Well, he'll leave off into his he'll
peace
show.
out. Yeah.
What do you call it? Spin-off. Okay, well, maybe I should count that as one of my points since you have a lot. So why don't you go ahead?
Sure. Okay. I did say about Maggie and Elijah's story, there was a moment where Negan was watching Maggie where I think his expression kind of went from sort of casual observer to like being a bit turned on by it. So the less said about that, the better.
But that's interesting because he does respect her a lot, I think. And he fears her. And I think they're both valid for him to have those feelings, but he may respect her, but he also values his own life, so he wants to get away.
He has what we would call a fear boner.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And it's confusing for him, so he's gonna leave. Right. So, where were we? Aaron and the Water's Edge. I didn't have high hopes for Judith and Gracie being stuck in this basement, largely because I think... So I read reviews of the show, and there's a few reviewers that I really like, and one of them is Eric Kane, who writes for Forbes. Yeah. He usually seems to be on our wavelength.
Yeah.
And he finally nailed what it was that I don't like about Gracie. He hates fear. We love you, Eric. Please come and join our podcast. He said that the thing about Gracie that's annoying is not the actress, but the fact that they've written this kid character who's so helpless in this world. He's like, she's grown up in this world like Judith. She's grown up with these other kids, but they've managed to write her as being like almost unbelievably crap at dealing with these things. And I think he's kind of right. Like, I can buy that she wouldn't be as good as Judith, but I do think they've maybe taken it a bit far, because I also can't imagine Aaron coddling his child that much. Like, he's lost too much. Surely he would want her to be more prepared. But anyway, that said, I thought that Judith and Gracie stuff was a really cool stunt piece. I had a major flashback to, I think it would have been the start of season 5, where I think it was Sasha, Bob, and one other person, but I can't remember who, got stuck with some underwater zombies in the basement of a store. Sure. It might have been, I feel like he was still too wimpy at that point. I might be wrong though.
I think he might have been being a wimp in the water, but I don't know for sure.
He was just peeing everywhere. It wasn't even a flood. It was just Gabriel peeing himself. And I just got major flashbacks to that Bob episode. And I think it was Karen on the podcast at that point was like, I don't even want to think about the yeast infections you would get after being in that water. So that was a nice callback, I think, to where Bob actually got bitten in season 5. I remember that was the big twist in that episode. It was awesome in terms of how it was shot. I loved seeing Aaron arrive and do this amazing slow motion head smash of the Zed. And I think having the Zeds in the water just adds this element of unpredictability.
It was like Thor in a Marvel movie or something.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Bearing down, and then he got like 2 more whack, just
it was awesome.
Pulp their heads.
It's awesome. And Gracie's just like, yeah, my dad's coming to help. I'm like, yeah, fucking
See,
hell.
I want to say too, before you get too far from it, I have a lot more patience with kids being scared and vulnerable than I feel like you do. But maybe
I don't
once
mind
you
the
have your own.
scared. Yeah, maybe.
Like Sam, he's like, fuck that kid.
I'm like, Jesus, Sam. I think with Gracie, it's not the scared, because I think you can see that Judith and RJ are scared as well.
Yeah.
I think it's just no one's taught her any basic shit,
Like
which
what?
I find really hard to
Like,
believe.
what should she
like
know
how
that
to
she
use a
doesn't know?
weapon. How to use a weapon. How to
Does she
defend
have a
herself.
weapon?
Well, no one's given her one. They should have. See Judith is like trying to teach her, like, is it 2 or 3 episodes ago we see that she's like, oh, Judith, I wish I could be like you. I'm just a little bit like, would you not be more on it than this? Maybe I'm being a harsh critic of parenting.
I'm not saying, I don't know. I think that you have something there. I could see, they're so little, like, and they're in this walled up town, but I guess you're probably right, Lucy.
But I think, well, I don't know, because I'm also second guessing myself a bit, because there's another argument where, like, Aaron wants to protect his kids so much that he doesn't want to admit.
Innocence.
Yeah, exactly, because that was a big thing.
But that could be a bad move, though.
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, she just got herself stuck in a freaking basement.
Right. I just also wonder, though, if, that's true. Like, if I was a parent, would I want to just teach my kid to kill? I guess if I thought that's what it would take to keep him alive, then I would
it's been a recurring thing. Like, Laurie didn't want Carl to have a gun.
Right. Yeah.
And then
but
at the prison,
got one.
And then he got one. And then at the prison, Carol was secretly teaching the kids how to protect themselves because of what had happened to Sophia. So I feel like we've never had a kind of satisfactory solution to parenting in the zombie apocalypse. But I just feel like it's noticeable how big of a gap there is there, and I feel like you would want your kid to at least have basic, stuff. I don't know.
You're right. I think you're totally right. Yeah. And Carol was teaching. Yeah. Did you say that? All the kids at the prison. So
story time with Carol.
So they should know at least how to stab a zombie in the head.
Yeah, I feel like I can. Oh my god, I would be like worse than Gracie in that situation because I'm claustrophobic and I don't like water and I don't like zombies. So I would be absolutely as scared as she is. But I would hope that my parent or guardian would have maybe taught me how to do a little bit of self-defense. Like if Eugene can learn it, a kid can, hopefully. But Aaron as a sloth kind of hanging from the pipe was kind of a fine balance between hilarious and quite tense. There was one shot that really made me laugh where they basically had the camera like up his asshole to like look at his face. I was like, who shot that? That's a very intense angle.
Very vulnerable.
And I have to say, big up Lydia for actually saving him, because he was quite a dick to Lydia back in season 9 or 10 where she got beaten up. Like he did not intervene when people were horrible to her.
Just kind of looked over and like,
Yeah.
But I mean, then they follow that up with him torturing that one Whisper. So you really saw that he has this deep-seated bias towards Whispers, and I can't totally blame him. But yeah, when she said thanks, and he said, I would, or no, he said
she
thanks.
Said, you would have done the same for me.
And he there was a little pause there, and then he's like, I would, but I'm like, I'm not so sure he would have. Maybe he doesn't know for sure if he would, but maybe now things might change a little bit now that they had this thing.
He's like, yes, Lydia, I would always have saved you. Let's move on to our next conversation. So that whole set piece, I really liked it. I would love to know a bit more about how they filmed it. In fact, I think they did a bit on Episode Insider about how the water was warm and stuff and nobody was uncomfortable. But yeah, it was really cool. Yeah. I've seen a bit of criticism that we didn't see the kind of ins and outs of how they got the rope in and Aaron got out, but I'm also like, I'll allow it.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I just thought, he somehow got up to that pipe, but fine, he scrambled up some shelf or something, and then Lydia, didn't she just pull him out of the window? There
was a rope, but I don't understand how it was attached to either side. So, yeah, no. It probably would have been a 10-minute, YouTube tutorial on how to tie a knot, so I don't really care.
I don't care that much. I mean, the point is that she helped him get out.
Yeah, if it was fear, I'd be like, and this is why this show is terrible. So they didn't even show us this. Whereas this, I'm like, it's fine. The rest of it was good.
No, I mean, so I'll go with my point about action and tension, because I think the action on The Walking Dead is often great, but often doesn't always feel like it worked maybe as effectively as they hoped it would, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of like the zombies are so slow, and yet the people are trapped, and you're like, just run around them or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
tire them out.
yeah. But in this episode, it was one of the most action-packed episodes we've ever gotten, and on several different fronts. And I thought it all worked really well. I think the thing with Aaron and the pipe actually might have been one of the least effective, but it was still great.
Yeah.
So I want to go over some of the other parts of that. Like, there was the cliffhanger with these Watcha rockets. Daryl, Maggie, and Negan were out there, and we see one of those hit a Zed, and then it blows up. I just love that.
It was amazing.
So
hang on, it hit a Reaper? Was it not a live dude?
One hit a Zed, and it blew up, and then
it was amazing.
Daryl and Maggie and Negan. I mean, basically, you're wondering how are you going to get out of it? How are you going to get out of the way? Well, they just kind of get out of the way. They just move over to the side. But yeah, then Maggie's fighting this Reaper. It's like in a shipping container or something, and she pushed him out there, and then he got hit too. So
it was amazing.
One. Yeah,
so good, so good. Loved it.
And then back in Alexandria, you see Rosita and Diane at the top of the stairs stabbing at this horde of Zeds, and that was really tense and great.
Oh, that was amazing. I had just a note that the women of Alexandria are kicking ass.
Yeah.
Like, it was so good.
I was almost afraid for Diane there because she was getting some screen time, and I'm like, she's dead, she's gonna die.
Every time we see Diane, I'm like, we are blessed that you are here. I'm so amazed that you're still alive, like so amazed.
Yeah.
I'm really glad she's there.
I thought she was gonna die. And then they switch over to Judith and Grace in the basement with the Zeds pushing through the door that they tried to board up, and then the windmill's on fire and it's about to fall over and break the wall, and I'm just like, man, I'm glad I don't have a heart condition. It's not quite that bad, but I mean, it was good tension. It reminded me of Return of the Jedi when there's like the stuff going on in the forest moon of Endor, and then the Emperor and Luke are fighting, and then there's all the spaceships in space trying to get through the shield generator, and just all this stuff going on at once. Then back with the Reapers, Gabriel runs across, and there's a Reaper sniper about to shoot him, and then Daryl comes in and tackles the guy, and then they have that knife fight inside the classroom. That was great.
Oh, the classroom knife fight was intense.
Yeah.
Like, so intense.
Really good. And then Daryl stabs him in the stomach and chokes him out, and then you see this Zed at the door, and then its head explodes, and you hear Reapers outside. Austin, are you in there? And then it's Leah and this other guy. And by the way, she seemed really devastated to see Austin dead, but I have no sympathy for her anymore.
Yeah, none.
They've gone around killing innocent people. This is what you get.
Nope. Yeah, that's what happens, Leah. Yeah. That's what happens. And you can't go back on a deal. Like, you can't. Anyway, yeah, she annoyed me this episode.
So then it's back to Judith and Gracie. They're like stabbing at Zeds, and getting their legs grabbed at, and Judith loses her sword, and then they start kicking at them, and then Aaron shows up, and he comes down with the hammer, and then his mace hand or whatever, Morningstar hand, and then he's underwater and he crushes another one's head, and the blood just like plumes out.
Oh, it was so beautifully gross.
and then he's left alone in there, and then the Zeds are like rising up slowly from the water. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then we see Gabriel, the whole scene with that other religious Reaper, which I won't go over because that's another point, but that was really tense too.
Mm-hmm.
And then Maggie and Elijah and Negan meet up with Carver in this hallway, and that was a badass fight, because you think, oh, it's 3 against 1, but then he's such a skilled fighter that he's really hobbling them, and
he is arrogant as well, which added this whole other edge to it, where he's like, come at me, bro, and like, yeah, I got tired of searching for you. I was like, he's so good at being a douche.
I mean, he's cocky because he has the skill to back it up, almost, but not quite, because then Elijah distracts him, I think, by swiping at his leg, and then Negan threw the, like, what was it, sand or ashes or something in his face?
Yeah, I think it's like sand from inside the bell. I don't know.
But then he goes, boing, well, ding, ding. Nice Arnold Schwarzenegger style one-liner in there.
Yep.
And then, the whole thing with Aaron, which we already talked about, but just all of that. Plus, I mean, I also another point of mine is the standoff between Maggie and her people and the Reapers. It was so tense and action packed, and they all were good. So I was thrilled with this episode, literally.
No, I couldn't agree more. I really noticed. I don't know who the fight coordinator on The Walking Dead is, but they absolutely killed it this episode. Like, especially Lauren Cohen. I feel like she's always been strong fight wise, but this episode she was like taking a fair kicking and giving a fair kicking as well. Like the chase with her and Carver, I loved the way they edited it so that it started mid-chase, so you didn't know what had happened in the intervening time. So that reveal that it was kind of a trap, but also the trap was kind of awful because our people are exhausted and undernourished, and
they're not trained mercenaries and ex-soldiers.
Yeah, and they're not mega douchebag. Well, I mean, Negan kind of is, but yeah,
that's what it took to beat him. Douchebag on douchebag.
Douchebag with some D-on-D action. Yeah, it was just the gruesomeness of this episode and the visceral violence was just amazing. Like the zombie head smash. There was also a face peel zombie.
Yeah, coming through the doorway.
Oh, wonderful. Loved it. Loved every second.
And given that this all was filmed during COVID, makes it even more impressive.
So impressive. Like everyone was just giving it their absolute everything, I think. And that, the classroom knife fight was really, really good. Mm-hmm. I was a bit like, oh, Daryl's gonna kick someone else's ass, but I found myself it was just a much more kind of closely fought kind of visceral fist fight than usual. It was really tense. Yeah,
and the fact that it was in a school classroom made it more interesting to me.
Yeah, I did have a note. Did Herschel go to school here? It's just like, it looks like a nice classroom.
It was directed by John Amiel, who's an English director. I don't know a lot of the stuff he's worked on, but I'm sure, they had special fight coordinators and everything too.
Oh, it was brilliant. It was just really, really excellent. And I just think Lauren Cohen has come back. I figure the show she did when she left The Walking Dead was very action based, so I'm wondering if she just really doubled down on a lot of fighting choreography, because she's really, really smashing it.
I wouldn't be surprised, if she's learned a thing or two from that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Amazing.
All right, what do you got next?
Okay, I'll name a thing I didn't like. Well, one that I enjoyed but would have been very frustrated were it in the show, and one thing I really, really didn't like. So I love the pace that we're going at, and I love that the Commonwealth have actually arrived now. Mm-hmm. I loved the whole Jerry seeing them, this whole it's almost like I don't know, it felt like something out of the Old West, like a traveling show or something comes to town with Lance Hornsby in his like fancy gentleman's suit, and
like
Eugene
he's gonna
looking
pull out some ointment or
snake
something.
oil. Yeah. Like, this snake oil will cure all your woes. So that was great. I was like, this is excellent. This has come now. I would say it did render the whole expedition to Meridian pointless, and quite a lot of people have died now.
Immediately. Like, they brought back this cart of food, and then here comes the Commonwealth, big old canisters of supplies. It's like the whole, death that just happened. I mean, at least they got rid of the Reapers, but seriously, Alden.
Oh my god. Maggie, Elijah, Daryl, Gabriel, and Dog come back. With the exception of Dog, they all look like absolute shit. Like, they've been totally harrowed by what they've seen. So many people have died. And then it's like 2 seconds after they get here, they're like, oh, we see your crappy food. The Commonwealth have brought their amazing food. So thanks for the apples.
Right. It's like all of a sudden, like, I don't know, somebody comes up with big giant bags of McDonald's or something.
Yeah. Oh, you brought carrot sticks. Oh, Lance brought McDonald's for everyone. And it was even better because it was like a surprise. Amazing. Eugene's like, they got McDonald's. Maggie's like, I've literally sacrificed part of my soul. Daryl's like, my girlfriend might be dead.
You were Jerry, and would you go for the carrots and the celery and potatoes, or the Big Mac?
I mean, I think Jerry would do whatever Ezekiel did, but I think out of politeness, he'd probably take the carrot, but I think he would also go and get a Big Mac, to be honest. And I know I would have no loyalty, because let's face it, the carrot will keep a little bit longer. The Big Mac's going to get
Yeah, you
cold.
gotta, I don't know about that. They last years.
I mean, yeah,
but...
they last. I mean, it is entirely plausible that there is a McDonald's in the Commonwealth, let's face it. But the bit I hated was just that final moment of like 6 months later, and you see like Elijah and Maggie, and it's like, surprise, they're on opposite sides, and I'm just like, we didn't really need that. Like, it's fine. Yeah. Elijah and Maggie on Hilltop's walls, and then Daryl in the crowd, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. Like, fine. I want to see how we get there, but I just felt a bit like, it was strong enough without that, but cool. We'll see how we get there.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, my first thought on that was, okay, well, let's see. What did they say to each other? It doesn't have to be this way. And then Daryl, who's dressed up as a Commonwealth soldier, takes off his helmet and says, yeah, it does. And it's like, okay, they're at odds, but I doubt they're so at odds that there would be serious danger for either one.
Yeah,
so it seems like a little flat to me, but
I could see it being a bait and switch where they're like, hey,
right, yeah, right, totally, it's a joke or something. But on second watch, I found a little more interest in that, because Daryl the whole time is saying, he's like, when Maggie starts shooting the Reapers, he's like, no. And at first I thought, well, that's just because his girlfriend's in there. But also he had said to Leah, or then he says to Leah, or no, maybe it was earlier. Anyway, you survived all this for what? To keep fighting and killing each other? You know, it doesn't have to be this way. So I just think that the way they're playing Daryl right now is he's tired of all this killing. And he's looking for civility. And I think what Maggie did, I mean, he saw her go and brutally gun down a bunch of people. I think that disillusioned him on her. That's poor grammar, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So I think that does sort of put them at odds, like puts him more in a position where he might want to be in a more civilized society and not be so much on Maggie's side after having seen her do that. So I think that's kind of what they were getting at. I don't know.
And he did, I mean, to be fair to Daryl, he did, with the exception of the Oceanside thing, he's really lived by Rick's philosophy since then. Like, he does believe in it, you know, in the sense of like redeeming, not necessarily redeeming people, but maybe there is going to be more of a conflict between those two than I'm giving them credit for.
I still, even though I just said what I said, I can't see them not. I mean, they still love each other, right? That's what I would think.
Yeah, that's the thing. And they had such a, I always remember the story beats for Daryl and Maggie after Glenn's death. You know, there was a lot there because Daryl felt so responsible and Maggie kind of, you know, forgave him in that sort of, my daddy thought you were, you know, like that kind of thing. You know, she never really held that against him. And I just,
at
there's
Hilltop,
so much.
They had that moment where he was sorry and she's like, no.
Yeah, there's so much there that I just think, like, would you really? But then so much time has passed, I suppose, that it's hard to know. I mean,
yeah, it really is. There is a significant philosophical difference between them now, and it's about life or death. So it's definitely put something in between them for sure. And just like he's got something in between him and Carol too, even though, you know, he'd probably still die for either one of these women. I would think.
Yeah, I think so. And I think with him and Carol as well, they've had those years in between as well, like whereas Maggie was kind of out of it for a while in the middle there. So it's,
one thing I liked about, well, not the time jump. Let me talk. Should I talk about the time jump first? Yeah. So I wonder if we're going to go back and see how we got here, or if we're just going to go on from this point.
Going by...
You want to talk?
We don't talk about next
we can't
week
talk
on,
about
do we?
next week. So
no,
you
that's
kind
fine.
of know, so that's all right. Let's not go there. But I don't know. So I would guess that we will. Oh God, I really don't know, but I know Angela Kang likes the time jump. You know, there've been a few since she came on as showrunner. And it's a good way to quickly freshen things up, like advance things to a place where the situation has changed quite a bit instead of having to get there slowly beat by beat. So that would suggest that they will just move on from here. But that said, it would be interesting to posit this sort of thing, not as good as like the Antler Queen and Yellow Jackets, but kind of that same idea, like, oh my God, what happened here? You know, how did we get to this point? So I could see it going either way, I guess.
Daryl is the Antler Queen.
But as far as like the Commonwealth showing up, I like that moment because it's immediately after, and they're right up, Daryl's right up there with his crossbow, and the other Alexandrians and the Commonwealth have their guns pointed at them. It's like, dude, they just can't catch a break. But then you see Eugene shuffling in. Oh, wait, we're friends here.
Yeah.
It was a great moment. And then you see they skip right to Lance Hornsby giving his speech. And he basically offers, you know, hey, we'll come and give you supplies and labor to fix up your place. But I have another opportunity, which presumably is you can come live with us. We don't know for sure, but it was neat to see Kelly like translating for Connie.
Oh yeah, it was nice to have the two of them back together.
Yeah.
And just to see him pitched in front of this group of absolute hot messes of human beings who are just like, we just got our apples. Why are we listening to this dude? But yeah, it was just such a fun contrast. Yeah, I loved that because it was one thing bringing our people into the Commonwealth. It was so great having that contrast of having him brought there. It reminded me of when Georgie turned up in season 7 or 8, but more stark in many ways, because it is like the place is literally and smoldering around them.
Yeah, I mean, like when everybody got back to Alexandria, they're just so worked over and mostly dead. I mean, I think more people died than came back for sure, right? I don't know for sure, but
it was
at least
huge
half.
group that left.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, right at the start of the last bit of this season, you know, Gage and that older dude, you know, there was loads of people who just did, and most of Maggie's folks, I'd forgotten that some of them had stayed at Alexandria when they were like welcoming Elijah back. I was
so
like,
she
oh
still
yeah,
has some people left. Yeah,
I think there's a couple.
but
yeah,
I'd say at least half, if not more, died. And then that whole storm and everything happened, and you see dead bodies everywhere. I think hopefully
they're burning them,
zombies,
right?
But yeah. So they're all just, they've had a rough week, and but it was nice to see the reunions, as it always is on Walking Dead. And when people come back together, Gabriel strokes Rosita's hair, and she's like, "Is that all food?" And he goes, "We made a promise and we kept it." Yes, you did. That was just a nice little moment.
Brilliant. So good.
But the best for me was Daryl hugging Connie. He's like, no way, because he didn't know she was alive.
Like, it's your good girlfriend.
right. And they're signing to each other, happy to see you. And Carol was looking over, I think kind of sadly, because Daryl wasn't saying hi to her. That's what I got from it. Bit of a high school moment there.
Maybe a little. And I think there's something about the way Daryl is with Connie that he's goofy, which I quite like, because it's nice to see him not be like super serious, like Daryl Dixon. I also like moment for Lydia, who's pretty bummed out that Negan's not coming back. That was sad.
Yeah, she looked kind of floored.
Yeah, I wonder if she'll try and go after him.
Maybe. And then and she, I mean, they've had their issues, but I think they have a bond for sure. And I also liked Aaron checking in with Gabriel, just like, "You all right, man?" And
those guys. Oh, so good. And now it's all gone to who knows where because the food arrived. So we'll see. The Commonwealth are here and they brought Big Macs.
And it really did feel like I don't know how it actually worked, but I've read and heard that they did not know that it was going to be the last season when they were writing the first episodes in the whole Reaper storyline. But it feels like now they do know, because they're just like, clear off the decks, let's get to the end game.
My one regret of this season, I think, will probably be that they wasted 8 episodes on the Reapers.
Yeah.
But here we are.
But you know what? I'm going to go on to a bigger point. Is that cool?
Do it.
Because it is about the Reapers, and I think I have a better indication of why that all happened. So Great. It's Maggie killed the Reapers. That was probably the most striking thing in the episode for me. I mean, right from the start, she's saying, like, it's her and Negan and who else was with them? Gabriel? Or I forget. But
when they were in the face-off bit?
No, yeah, like who was fighting? It was Elijah, Negan and Maggie and Elijah. I think they were like, let's wait. She's like, let's wait until dawn and then hunt them down. But Negan just wants to get out of there, grab food and get out. And she's like, no, I'm not going to leave Alden and Gabriel vulnerable. I'm not going to risk them following back home. So her intentions are to kill them from the start. Mm-hmm. But then they fight Carver in the hall and decide not to kill him. And Elijah's not happy at all because he killed her sister. And not to mention all the Reapers killed all of their friends. But then the whole conversation at the end where they bring out Carver, Daryl has a knife to his throat and Leah's with 2 other Reapers and they make that deal, just drop your weapons and we let you leave. But then she has a sniper, Jensen, who fires this warning shot and she goes, everybody out. And then Negan, Elijah, and Maggie come out into the open. At first I was like, why would you follow her? But I guess they just don't want Daryl to get shot. So they're doing what she says. Mm-hmm. And then
well, they also don't know how many other people, like they know there's one person with a gun, there could be more.
Yeah And then she tells Daryl Leah tells Daryl to let Carver go, and he's like, I'm not going to do it. And then she goes, Jensen, the woman, and it's like, oh shit, that means kill her.
I know.
So Daryl's like, okay, fine. And then Elijah is like, fuck this. He's like, shambling over to limping towards them to kill Leah, and they're like, no, dude, no. And then he collapses, and then Carver's about to kick him, but then someone shoots his leg, and it's Gabriel. Da, 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 da. Leah's like, Jensen, what the hell, Jensen? Gabriel. He's like, nope, no Jensen here. That was a great moment. But I guess I won't go beat by beat through all of it. But anyway, the whole thing about, she tells them, is the deal still on? Leah's like, and
hell no. Sorry.
But then she says, and what I was thinking too, hey, if your friend has his rifle, but I bet we take a couple of you down before he takes us, why don't we just go our separate ways? And Maggie's
not wrong.
Maggie said, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And Maggie asked Negan, you agree? And he goes, you know what I think? And I kind of wonder if she didn't really care what he thought, but she's just trying to make it look legit.
Yeah.
So Leah will
or maybe she was just hoping for a moment that he would do what she wants him to do and be a murderous bastard, like, and he's I mean, I guess that's kind of for him. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you what you want.
It's just a little out of character for her I just don't want to see her have any respect for him. I guess that's what it is. It's me, but
well, there's a point I thought it was because I was going to ask you about this, because I feel like there was a point at the start of the episode where like Negan, it's established Negan doesn't get a vote. It's like, well, I don't get a vote.
Yeah.
And then she asks him there. And I think there was a bit of him that's like, well, fuck you. Like, you said I didn't have a vote. I'm not going to tell you what you want. It felt to me at that moment that Negan's checked out. Like, he knows at that point, like, he can see the writing on the wall.
Well, he's been saying, well, let's just get out of here. I just want to go. Yeah. But then...
I'm so that person. I'm like, can we just leave? I just want to go. Right. Can we just leave? I hear there's McDonald's. Like, can we go?
But Leah says, not without Carver, who's laying on the ground there. And Maggie says, no. Carver. And I wonder if she's just making it feel legit. Like, I don't want this to go too easy, because then they'll know that it's a trick. Or maybe it wasn't a trick, because then, as soon as they start dropping their weapons, I thought, you guys are all dead. That's just what I just thought that, like, she's going to kill you all. But then she checks with Elijah. She kneels down and goes, Elijah, and he goes, for Josephine, which I think is his sister, for all of them. And so maybe she hadn't made up her mind yet until he said that. I don't know. Either way, it was really striking to watch her gun them down one by one. And then she was out of bullets, so she killed Carver with Elijah's weapon. It was chilling, but honestly, I was a big yes to it. I gotta admit.
Yeah. I was with her.
You? Yeah.
No, I thought Maggie did the right thing. I really did. I think, I'm with her on that decision. She was right about not wanting to be followed home.
Yep.
She was right. And actually, this was something that came up in, one of the reviews I read today. I do have original thoughts. I promise I don't get them all from reviews, but somebody pointed out that the scene with Maggie and Negan at the fireside a few episodes ago, where I think for a moment you think Negan might say he regrets killing Glenn, and he actually says, no, I regret not killing all of you, which is kind of harsh but true. And I wonder if that maybe stuck with Maggie a little bit here, of like, well, yeah, we have to kill them all, because
I mean,
Negan,
whether it was on Maggie's mind. I think it was a deliberate choice for the show. That's actually my point. I think the point of the Reapers was it was more about what story are we going to tell with Maggie and Negan. The story we're going to tell is to get Maggie to a place where she does something that you might argue is even worse than what Negan did to Glenn and Abraham. And I still would not argue that, because the Reapers are just killing machines, and they want
and Carver was so antagonistic. Like, even when it was like, you killed my sister, he's like, oh, what was her name? I don't care. Like,
if you're gonna debate whether to kill someone like Randall, who I always go back to and will to the end of this podcast, where he, you know, was maybe a threat, but they weren't sure. The Reapers are nuts. They're lethal. They've killed about all of Maggie's people for no reason, innocent people, and they've shown no signs of remorse, and only said that they want to finish them off. So, I mean, maybe they could be rehabilitated under some perfect conditions or something, but this is the zombie apocalypse. So I just thought, get rid of them, and it totally makes sense. Now, we also have both said we thought it was really bad what Rick's people did going into the Savior outpost, killing them all in their sleep. Yes, and that I still don't like that at all, and I understand that's what Negan's saying, like, I should have killed you guys all after that. But what makes that different for me is that Negan started it by stealing and killing innocent people and going around and terrorizing these communities and dominating, and so that's what makes it different for me, for what Maggie's doing here versus what Negan did to, I mean, it's still, you know, there's blame on both sides for sure, but this is a little more cut and dried to me. Like, yes, you got to get rid of these guys or they're going to kill you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? Yeah, there was no, they just weren't ever going to escape from them. Like, there was no, how could they rest easy if they didn't finish them off entirely?
Yeah. It's just, you're just asking to be killed if you don't finish them off based on what they've done so far. So for all kinds of reasons, I'm glad they're dead. I mean, to get past the story, but it was a cool ending. Like, it was almost worth it to me. Such a great episode.
It was such a great episode. And do you think that Leah and Negan are going to bump into one another?
I don't know. I hadn't thought about that. I mean, she is the only one who made it out alive, right? And I think she's the only Reaper left.
Yeah, I don't think this is the end for either of them. But I don't know.
Maybe they'll get together and just be awful together.
I mean, that'd be fine. Dog chose Daryl in the end, so, you know, it's all fine.
You think that's, I hadn't thought about that, but they are both kind of out there.
Yeah, I just wondered if they're going to turn up at some point in some format. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it'll be one or the other, but yeah.
I mean, I would assume